As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I'm going with Jackson Arnold. Got the 5th star from ESPN, and that it's big with the quarterbacks he's associated with right now. You've got, well, I think it's the first time that they've had 4 quarterbacks in the top 10 overall recruits. Jackson Arnold made it into that prestigious group. He was number 15 previously. Now he is the number 8 overall player in the 2023 class, having an excellent senior season right now. They're undefeated. He's put up some really nice numbers. I think he's thrown 13 touchdowns and just 1 interception, also adding some ground touchdowns as well, 4 rushing touchdowns. And that comes as very, very welcome and needed news, considering the quarterback situation at Oklahoma right now outside of Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, that's very exciting, right? Believe Jackson Arnold was at the OU Texas game. My hope is that he saw it and went, there's a path for me to play very quickly, which is important, right? And I know a lot of people are very concerned about them keeping the recruiting class together, but this is what I know. Brent Venables is an awesome recruiter. Jeff Levy is a very, very good recruiter. So I feel confident they're going to be able to keep what is looking like a top 5 class now together, right? Because some of those guys, we haven't talked much about recruiting since the season started because we like to focus on the games, but some of those guys that you and I both said, hey, they're going to climb in the rankings during their senior season, because they're going to be really productive. They're going to play well. Like a couple of those evaluations that OU staff felt really good about, like, hey, these guys they're going to become a bigger deal. Well, they have. That's exactly how it's played out, which is a great thing. So yep. I know the season isn't going well. In fact, it's going poorly currently, but the recruiting trail appears to still have the juice, which is great.
And it's not always the instant reaction is always, oh my God, a bad season. What is this going to do to recruiting? It doesn't necessarily have the effect that you think it would. At times, it can even have a positive effect in recruiting. Now, that is if you eliminate all the other things. Like sometimes you can't do anything about big NIL deals coming down a recruit's way from a different school. Stuff like that is going to happen. But, the sales job becomes easier on a coach, right? And whether or not it's true, the sales pitch becomes easy. This is why we need you. This is what I've been telling you. That we need you right now. And, I still feel confident about it, that the recruiting is going to continue to go well. And there's still some other names out there that they've got really good opportunities with. I'm not naive to think that, there's not a threat of losing some of the guys that we've got committed. That's always a threat, but I feel good about it.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people, some anxious energy about what's going to happen with the current recruiting class, but have some faith, people. Have some faith. All right, who do you have as your loser of the week?
Hot seat coaches in college football. Matt Rhule fired on Monday from Carolina after a bad start. What are they, 1-4? His defensive coordinator, Phil Snow's been let go as well. Those guys have been joined at the hip since the days back at Temple. I don't know whether or not he's going to take a job. The dude gets like, what, $40 million from Carolina.
Guaranteed.
I mean, he'll be coaching some. He can go coach somewhere. Or he can go to the beach. But uh, Matt Rhule belongs in college. Not only does he belong in college, Matt Rhule is a program rebuilder, in my opinion, and he suits a lot of places out there really, really well. And there's going to be some big paydays thrown out his way, which, at the end of the day, he's in a position to where the pay isn't necessarily going to matter because he's getting so much money from Carolina. Like, you'll just be adding on to whatever that is. So, I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of schools that want to get in on the Matt Rhule sweepstakes.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And Matt Rhule, I think he's a tremendous coach. I think he's a really good developer. Like you meant, like his whole thing was, hey, we're going to get these guys with these athletic measurables and we're going to turn them into football players. And it worked at Temple. And the way that he got Baylor back so quickly, like it was so impressive. But from what I've read, the contract with, if he takes a college job, there's an offset, right?
Yeah.
So he's getting the money from Carolina if he doesn't coach. So maybe you take a year or two, right? And you wait, but gosh, I'm a big fan of Matt Rhule. I've interviewed him a ton with my show there on the Big 12 show on Sirius when he was coaching at Baylor. I want him to go to Nebraska because I want to see if he can pull it off, honestly.
I know. That's kind of what I'm thinking too. The Nebraska thing just seems so natural. Now, is he from Pennsylvania?
Penn State guy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I don't know if that would be
first
but
back in the Big Ten, but it just seems like the right place, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you think Nebraska would rather have Leipold or Rhule?
Rhule.
I agree. And nothing against Lance Leipold. Like he's
right.
Clearly crushing it. But Rhule's, he's very charismatic, like he not only can he develop, but he wins the press conference also. Like he's kind of got it all.
Yeah, I think it would be a hard sell to your fan base if you had a chance at Rhule and chose Leipold. Like that could cost you your job, I think. And that's like you said, that's not taking anything away from Leipold, but it just feels like he's done a great job at Kansas, but you just feel like there's still a little left that's unknown, but I don't know.
I also, the Colorado job, they should not be that bad. And when you think about it, like USC and UCLA looking pretty good right now, they're gone next year. Right. And I know the mystery, like the uncertainty of the Pac-12 and how much can Colorado pay you, like that's a conversation, but Boulder is sweet. There's no reason they shouldn't be a more talented program. I mean, you got a lot to sell there with Boulder.
There's got to be a
Denver.
feeding. Yeah, there's got to be a feeding frenzy of alum there, like ready for something like that to happen. And if you can go and say, "Hey guys, we got a shot at this," if we can come up with the money, you wouldn't think that it'd be that difficult to do. But I don't know.
I think that if you had to go through the Carl Durrell years, like I think Matt Rhule is better than Mel Tucker.
Yeah.
So if you can come out and end up with Matt Rhule, if you're Colorado, I know that maybe you don't even know what conference you're going to be in the future. If the Pac-12 is going to survive, what's going to happen? But I would also love to see him there, see if he could build it up. There's no reason they should be as bad as they are.
Agree.
And one of the big reasons they've slipped is they have not been able to recruit Texas the way that they did when they were in the Big 12. Well, and I know Joey McGuire was a big help for Matt Rhule when he was at Baylor, but that was kind of their thing, identifying guys that slipped through the cracks that had the athletic profile they liked and then making them football players. So
Yep.
you do that, you recruit California. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Like, and although he wasn't a successful NFL coach, as a recruiter, it's still like when you walk in and you've been an NFL head coach for a couple of years, people know who you are.
Yeah,
And
and it
that,
carries weight. Like, you've been in the
yeah,
league, you know what it takes to be in the league. And I just like the fact that, and I feel like and maybe I'm just kind of projecting this, but I, it feels like college football as a whole wants Rhule to go to one of these places and turn them into like the next level program, whether it's like a Wisconsin or a Nebraska or like any, like you mentioned, Colorado, any of those schools that have previously been a big part of college football and the overall atmosphere of the sport, and have since like faded. And Wisconsin hasn't faded that far from it. Heck, they were one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the country last year. But still, like, to take one of those programs that has not been in the playoff conversation really and turn them into a contender, like that's one of the fun things about college football, is whenever you have some of these programs rise from the ashes, and like kind of like what you're seeing from Tennessee this year.
yeah. If you could guarantee Rhule that Colorado's staying in the Pac-12 and USC and UCLA are going to be gone, and you can pay him what he wants to be paid, I would love to watch that.
Why you even got to guarantee that? What if you could tell him that we're going to the Big 12?
Yeah. It's like, hey, you're just going back. At the word, I mean, I guess those are probably the 2 scenarios. You're out there in the Pac-12 without USC and UCLA, or you're back in the Big 12 with something you're familiar with. So I don't know. I think my judgment is being a little skewed because, like, I just love Denver. I think it's an awesome town. And Boulder, that campus is gorgeous. And there's so much beer everywhere. And
Right.
obviously, big marijuana town there as well. So it would, I don't know. They shouldn't be that bad. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. For my winner of the week, thought about going with the Ben Simmons haters. Ted, did you see the video?
What are we doing? Like,
So
what?
I don't know what event that was. It looked like maybe some community event or something. They all have their jerseys. It's like at an outdoor court, but it wasn't even the fact that he airballed it. The form just looks, dude. I mean, it just looks awful. Like, he airballed it and he's not even at the free throw line. And like, I know, but just the release, everything. I was like, oh my God. I saw a tweet from Bill Simmons, who's got, one of the most popular sports podcasts. And he was like, I may take the Nets under win total just because of this, like, this video.
I don't know, man. The dude just, I've never gotten the feeling that he cares or feels like basketball is worth any of his time. It's just the feeling I've had for him since he was all the way when he was back at LSU.
And Steve Nash, I saw an article, Steve Nash talking about, like, Ben's got to get back physically, back mentally, got to build his confidence back up. I think that thing in Brooklyn could be a dumpster fire this year, man. They are the gift that keeps on giving from a drama standpoint, and it could explode at some point.
Powder keg.
Oh,
it is definitely a powder keg, and they're going to try early on, but the first sign of like adversity or whatever, it's just going to kaboom.
And I've watched some of their preseason stuff. It's like Simmons he wants nothing to do with shooting the ball, like, at all. Like, away from the rim, absolutely not. I don't know.
It's like one of those. Who was the pitcher, the lefty, Lester? that couldn't throw over to first base.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing right now. It's like it doesn't matter what's happening. I'm not throwing to first base, and Simmons is I'm not shooting the basketball.
Yeah. All right, but my winner of the week, Josh Giddey, man. Or maybe it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. Hey, Ted, I know season starts in a week. How about that? NBA season starts in a week. I'm going out on a limb and saying you have not been dialed into Oklahoma City Thunder preseason basketball.
I have not been dialed in, but I have seen some stuff. Okay. And let me just say the one thing about possibly having a football team that doesn't make a playoff or a bowl game, it just means the NBA season starts sooner for me,
That's true. So we may have to shift some more talk time over into the Thunder area but got to win against the Pistons. And I know it's preseason, but Pistons, very young, talented core, right? Thunder, same thing. A lot of excitement moving forward for both organizations, but preseason game on Tuesday night, and Josh Giddey looks good. And there was a lot that was made from Chip England being added to that staff, kind of like the shooting specialist. And Giddey looks like he's learned how to shoot. Man, 4 of 8 from 3, and we're talking off the dribble. We're talking catch and shoot. It looks good. A lot of art. It's looking nice, and I know that he's Egypt. By the way, he just turned 20 years old.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like he's got a lot of basketball ahead of him, but
he's going in his 3rd year.
Second.
Is it just second? Okay.
Yeah. But he is, he looks like a guy that is going to be, here in a few years, 2-3 years, could be an all NBA type player. Like he's so skilled. And if he can shoot at that size, man, it's exciting. Lou Dort looks like he's in great shape, looks great. Jalen Williams, the other first rounder, the one from Santa Clara, that guy's going to be a big factor for this team. Like his ability, his movement with the basketball as he's handling it, but his defense, and that guy looks like he's going to be one of the best defenders on this team already. There's some exciting stuff. Usman Jang looks extremely skilled now. My wife and I, we went to a Thunder thing not too long ago. All the players were there. That dude looks so young. Oh my gosh. Looks like he's like 18, maybe 19 years old, right? Like he looks so young, but he is tall as hell and athletic and fluid. Like I know they're going to lose a lot of games this year, man. I know that. And it'll be exciting once Shea gets back from the knee injury, but I'm as excited as I've been in a couple of years about what we could see. Now, I really wish Chet Holmgren wasn't missing the season, but I'm just kind of interested to see what it looks like this year for them. I think they could win some more games than people think, which may not be a good thing, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's good. I like Giddey. He seems to have just a great personality. Also, I think he could be a fan favorite, throughout the league if he continues to develop and is on the trajectory you're talking about. You got to have 7-footers that hit threes nowadays. It's weird, but that's what you got to have, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. So buckle up, people. Thunder basketball is almost here. For my loser of the week, I'm in baseball mode, Ted. I'm watching playoff baseball. I'm dialed in and thought about going with the Seattle Mariners. Oh, woo. Take the 7-5 lead into the 9th in game 1 of the ALDS, and Yordan Alvarez sends a 3-run walk-off to the damn moon. Man, that was an absolute blast of a home run to win that game.
Unbelievable. That's like as cool as it gets, right? Whole crowd already on their feet. I think the count's 0-1, 2 outs, and just gets every single inch of that baseball. Woo! That was cool. What's that? It's only the 2nd time in history in a playoff game. Is that right? Down to your last out?
Yeah, ESPN Stats and Info. Second walk-off home run in postseason history by a team down to its final out.
Wow.
So if you're a
Incredible.
Mariners fan, you're like, really? We bring Robbie Ray in? Really? And this is what we get? A historic walk-off against us?
I'm not obviously a fan of the Astros, but that's about as cool as it gets.
Yeah. No, I was watching, I was like, oh my God. Like it was playoff baseball, man. The suspense, it's fun. It really is fun.
I was like scrolling through because I saw it on Twitter last night and I was showing it to my son. And then I was like scrolling through the comments and there was someone reposted the video and like right before the pitch, you hear this like clank, 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 like the trash cans getting banged. It's pretty funny.
That's good. Oh, that's good. For my loser of the week, also thought about going with Baker Mayfield.
Mm.
Coach fired. High ankle sprain. You got some people saying, hey, 2 to 6 weeks. You got some people saying day to day. I mean, it feels like a situation where we're about to see Baker out there playing hurt again. And I mean, it hasn't gone well for him. It just hasn't, right? He has not played good football for the Panthers so far. And, we watched him out there last season playing hurt. If he goes out there again this year on a bum ankle, I don't like how that lines up, man.
Yeah. It's not feeling great either near term or long term for Baker right now. I'm kind of curious where things go for him. It's unfortunate to say right now, but if you're a head coach and Baker Mayfield's on your roster, you better watch out. He's gone through a coach almost every single season he's been in the league. I don't know. I hope he gets healthy. This year's not going to be a good year. And I feel like he's going to have to work his way back up from
He's got to Geno Smith it, man.
Yep, that's what it's going to look like.
He's got to get a break, get an opportunity, and when he gets that opportunity, he's got to play really, really well.
Yep.
I mean, it's just where it's at right now. But my loser of the week, and it's such a shame because he was awesome in the game, but Davante Adams has created a mess for himself.
Oh.
So first of all, Raiders, and I'm so sorry, Chris Plank. I'm so sorry, man, that your Raiders are doing this to you, but they blow another big lead, right? Blow a 17-point lead to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, dropping them to 1-4. And, there's a play late for Davante Adams. By the way, his cleats were so sick. Those like shiny silver ones, very Joe Washington of them. But he kind of bobbles it, doesn't secure it and get both feet in. That was a big play, like him not catching that and securing it in that moment. But he had a massive game, right? But pushing that photographer was a big mistake. And I know, you see it from certain angles, and it's like he didn't see him till the last minute, but I know you're frustrated. I know you just dropped to 1-4, but you can't do it. Now, I will say, hey, photographer, have some damn awareness, man. Don't walk in front of the players trying to get to the tunnel after they just lost. Let's look alive, man. Come on now. But he pushes him to the ground. That's going to be an expensive push, Ted.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. I don't know like what the league is going to put on it, but it's definitely going to be a fine from the league. You gotta be smarter than that in that moment. I know he's pissed. I know he's walking off the field. Like that's like the most dangerous time for a player to do something stupid, and it got him. And he's otherwise, from what I've seen and what I know about him, just an absolute, fantastic teammate, player, guy, community, all of that. So you hate to see this one moment define him or, make him appear to be something that he's not, but you just can't do it.
I mean, and if people are wondering like how big of a deal is it? Remember, there was the Chris Jones roughing the passer, just an absurd call where he strips it from Carr, and like it just that has been overshadowed by Davante Adams pushing this guy.
Yeah.
And you're right. Fine's coming. And the guy, he filed a police report saying that he suffered injuries from Adams assaulting him.
Yeah.
That's going to get settled out of court. There's no doubt. But one of the bad parts for Davante Adams is a simple Google tells you how much money that dude's making.
Yeah. No way. And this is a personality flaw, but there's no chance in hell I settle out of court with that guy. There's no way. It's on video. The dude is not hurt at all. That is not assault. You got pushed whenever you were stumbling around in front of a dude. Any judge or any jury that awards that guy anything more than like season tickets to the Raiders games is a total fraud. And it is the reason that our court system is backed up with a bunch of bullshit is because of stuff like this, and that judges and juries don't toss it out immediately.
You heard it, Davante Adams. You heard it here. Don't settle, man. Fight the good fight.
Fight it. You got plenty of money. You got a lawyer on retainer. Just tell him to go to work.
I looked it up. I think he's made like $85 million in his career, but with that new massive contract, I think if he plays it all the way out, it's like 201 career earnings.
Ooh. It's the principle. I know 50 grand or whatever isn't a drop in the bucket, but it's the principle of the matter.
I like it. I wonder if he'll take your advice. I'm sure he'll hear this.
Probably not. His lawyer's going to be just pay this and be done with it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, just like, no, let's have this go away.